My name is Sean Palmer. I am part of the Hall of Fame committee, and I'm currently a teacher here and a coach here, and have been honored to be involved in all of these ceremonies that we have. We started the Hall of Fame in 2020, so this is our 6th class. If you are currently in the Hall of Fame, been inducted in the last 6 years, or if you're joining us tonight and we're here to celebrate you a little bit, would you mind standing and waving to all your fans, please? Legends walk among us. So we're excited to be here to honor a new class. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of what the evening's going to go and how things are going to be. So we're going to bring up presenters that were handpicked by our inductees that get to say all the nice things about our inductees, so they don't have to brag about themselves, so we can brag for them and talk about all their wonderful accomplishments. We have some plaques for our Hall of Fame inductees as well. We're going to ask you, after you give your acceptance speech, to come on over here and take some pictures with your presenter. We're also going to have opportunities to take pictures afterwards, after our ceremony. Please feel free to hang around. We'll have some treats and drinks as well. And we also, one of our inductees tonight, Danny Hewitt, who was a great soccer player here for Coach Strauss, couldn't make it, and you're going to get to see a cool speech from Danny via Washington, right? Seattle, Washington. But since he couldn't be here, he got gifts for our inductees. So we actually have some really cool Nike sweatshirts over here for our inductees. I'm sorry, Coach Taylor, we don't have enough for the entire basketball team. So you can maybe have a horse competition. The gym's open, the lights are on. I still got money on you, but we'll let you figure that out. And Heidi, Miss Kelly is an integral part of everything that we do here at Rangeview. So yeah, please. She's going to take your picture and remind you to grab a sweatshirt. Also, some of you have already taken the opportunity to walk down our athletic hallway, and please do so if you haven't done so already afterwards. Look at some really cool older pictures of a lot of people in this room right now, and some pictures of some teams. We like to call it our athletic hallway, more like our Hall of Fame hallway. But we also have a plaque of all of our inductees, both past and current inductees, right next to our trophy case down there. So please look at your name, take a picture. You need some proof to your friends back home that you're in the Hall of Fame, and that's okay. And then, like I said, please feel free to stay around as much as you like afterwards. I'm sure you're seeing some people tonight that you haven't seen in a long time, and we don't want to rush that. So we're just glad that you're here. We're excited about tonight. And I can't think of a better way for us to start by me introducing Mr. Joe Burton as our first presenter. So let's give it up for our very first athletic director, the legendary Joe Burton. A Hall of Famer himself, of course. Well, you might have to fight Barb for it, but you sound like Vic. You ADs are always angling for more gear, but that's okay. I'm going to give you the mic.
I remember a whole bunch of Rangeview Raider sweatshirts and shirts and hats and jackets. When I left Rangeview in 1999 and went to Gateway, I dropped off, was it 4 or 5 garbage bags full of Rangeview paraphernalia? Yeah, you told me you took it to the dump. I'm so happy to be here tonight and to see a lot of you old guys like Tony Angelini He's getting old too. You look great, Tony. But I have the privilege tonight of introducing somebody that was a fixture around Rangeview High School for 23 years. She was everywhere in this school. I'm going to ask her to come up here so I can embarrass her while she's standing here. Barbara Curtis. She walks better than I do.
I'm older than you.
Well, that's true. Yeah, about much. Barbara Curtis. Barbara started teaching way back in 1959 in New Mexico, and she taught 47 years. Barbara Curtis went to West Junior High from New Mexico and spent several years there, and then she went to Gateway. And she taught 10 years at Gateway, and she came over here to Rangeview with the rest of us hooligans. One of the best assets we've ever had. Matter of fact, in a little bit, one of the best stories I have about Barbara Curtis and the kind of person that she was and the supporter she was for sports was at Gateway. But there wasn't a time, not a ball game, not a soccer match, not anything that you could go to, at least at home, that Barbara Curtis wasn't there. If she wasn't keeping score, she was timing. If she wasn't timing, she was selling tickets. If she wasn't selling tickets, she was taking tickets. If she wasn't doing that, she was checking the girls' bathroom so Tony and Lee would get out of it instead. But she was the quintessential supporter of this school. The story I want to tell you about her was in 1976, Title IX first came in. And the government said that girls should have the same opportunity as boys. It's a long time coming, and it certainly was great. Well, that first year, in 1976, I was the athletic director at Gateway, and she was a math teacher and doing everything else, selling tickets just like she did here, and mostly keeping score. And I put out an advertisement when we got the approval from the Board of Education that they would fund girls' sports. I couldn't find a coach for basketball. I asked every person in the world. I had parents' meetings, I put advertisements in the Rocky Mountain News and then the Denver Post. No one stepped forward to coach Gateway High School's first girls' basketball club. She's always said that. So I put out a memo to the staff at Gateway and a letter to the parents that I was unable to find a coach, and unless I do, the season starts in a week. Without a coach, I can't have a team. Well, I'm sitting in my office the next day, and this sweet lady comes in, and she says, "Joe, I want you to know I don't know anything about basketball. I've never played it. I've never coached it. I'm not sure I know all the rules." She did, but she said that to me. And she said, "But I'll coach because I want those girls to be able to play." And I won't. It was dismal. But nonetheless, she coached that team. And she says, "Joe, but you got to promise me one thing, that you'll talk to the parents and you'll keep them off my back because, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to make some bonehead moves, but I'm going to try." And try she did. Bless her sweet little heart. She went out there and practiced and read up on and watched and took advice from anybody she could get. And before the season, she said, "Joe, I want you to talk to the parents and tell them the situation." So I did. I had a meeting with the parents. I told them what she did. I told them to leave her alone. Well, that was true except for one person. We won't mention it. One parent just couldn't keep his mouth shut. I had to suspend him from coming to the ball games ever for the rest of the season. And his daughter was the best ball player on the team. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? This lady started girls basketball at Gateway. I know that's not a Rangeview story, but that's a Barbara Curtis story. And she came up. She came to Rangeview High School in 1983 when we opened the building, and she was the math department chair. I had 3 sons that went through here, and I made sure that they were in Bart Curtis's math class because she was a no-nonsense good teacher, and my kids came out of there understanding math. I'm not sure what else they understood here, but understanding math. But I just want to tell you guys to put your hands together and thank this lady for all that effort.
He has to tell you bad stories. That was not an easy thing. I played basketball at South High School, but the rules were totally different there. I played defense and couldn't cross the center line. I could dribble twice, and I could pass to my people that were on the other side. I didn't play basketball. I played fun things. I loved Rangeview. I would have done anything for them. They did everything they could to help me with any time I needed help in class, and they found somebody that was a sucker that would go to any place and go to school for them. I scored baseball in blizzards. I was outside in almost anything in cross country. I was in a mud puddle every time I went. It never failed. But I loved the school and the people that were in it. They were always behind you. And this is one of the greatest places to be. I'm proud as could be to be honored in this way. I was so happy when they called, and I want to tell you all, this is a great place, and you've got kids that are in a wonderful school. Thank you very much.
Big Stress, former something, athletic director, soccer coach, still soccer coach, Rangeview High School. My pleasure to be the presenter for Danny Hewitt. I tried to get Danny, in fact, we nominated Danny 2 years ago, and called him up and said, hey, you're going to go in the Hall of Fame. And he said, oh, coach, I don't think so. I go, what? I said, well, what's wrong? I said, coach, I don't think I can be in that. You weren't very good. You're right, you were. And so we kind of tabled it. So at this year's committee meeting, I told him that story, and the committee said, he doesn't get to choose. We choose him. He didn't have a say. So I emailed him back, I said, you're in. No more. This is the kind of person Danny was. His high school accomplishments and his athletic accomplishments are clearly deserved. First team All-State player, All-League player, Division I recruit, one of the top recruits from Gonzaga University, went on to play for the Seattle Sounders in professional soccer. The reason why I really was adamant about Danny being a part of this community had nothing to do with his playing. It had everything to do about his character. Danny played for one of the most elite soccer clubs in the state of Colorado, the Rush Club. In 1996, a new school opened up in Jefferson County called Dakota Ridge. Every player on his club team open enrolled into that school. Danny could have gone with them. They won the state championship a year later, undefeated. They also inflicted my worst defeat ever as a coach on my field after also. Dan had to suffer through that with me. He stayed home. He stayed home to play for his community and play for his home school. He could have gone, he could have got the accolades of state champion, but it was more important for him to play for Rangeview and play for his friends, his family, and the kids he grew up with in elementary school. And more than anything, that exemplifies what I think high school sports should be about, used to be about, and needs to be about. And that's why more than anything, so, without further ado, it is my pleasure, my honor to present Danny Hewitt for induction into the Rangeview High School Athletic Hall of Fame. And I'm sure there's a short video right now.
Thank you, Strauss, for the introduction. I appreciate it. Really enjoyed playing for you, and really respect the amount of time you've been at Rangeview as a coach, teacher, and athletic director. Also, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for the nomination. It was unexpected. We greatly appreciate it. Sorry I can't be there tonight. I'm with my family celebrating my parents' 50th anniversary. I can't thank them enough for the love and support they provided me, not only in my athletic career, but also throughout life. I hope that I can do the same for my sons, Dane and Keon. I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you.
That's typical Danny, short and sweet and meaningful as the way he was on a soccer field, one of the best players I ever coached. So, good job. Please welcome to the stage, Dave Gonzalez. Ricky, want to come up? All right, it's an honor to present the next recipient for this year's class. Happens to be my beautiful daughter, Ricky Cartagena. I've been blessed to have been able to coach my own two kids over a career of working with many student athletes that have reached pinnacle achievements in life. As a proud dad, I can go on and on about Ricky's accomplishments, cross country and track, youth sports, high school and college careers. The record boards here and at UNC really speak for themselves. She's multiple times all-state and all-conference in high school, all-conference in college. She was a trailblazer in middle distance, and cross country. Ricky first set her vision on the track as a little girl. Her first race in the summer track meet. It was the 800. She took off at a pace I didn't think she could hold. I was scared to death, and she's never looked back since. She's always been grounded in her faith. I'd watch her warm up with her headphones in high school, thinking she was listening to her gospel hype music. Later in college, she told me she was actually listening to her pregame hype song by Ludacris. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the chorus that says, "Move, young lady, get out of the way." Doesn't quite say that. Family now. She has left a legacy at Rangeview and UNC with her leadership, character, faith, and love for her family. I'm proud of her many accomplishments, but the two most I cherish: first, I was blessed to walk her down the aisle to her husband and life partner, Brandon, who we're so proud of. They started their own legacy and family. Secondly, a few years ago, she was working in admin and DPS. She told me she was going to make a life decision and change course.
She was going to devote her life to motherhood for our grandsons, Zion and Bryson, right back there. She was afraid I'd be disappointed, but I've never been more proud of her. Papa and Mama are the most precious names me and my wife have ever been called. Congratulations. Well deserved.
Well, thank you, Dad. It's important for a child to know what their father says about them. I'll come back to that. My name is Ricky Cartagena. For a lot of my life, I've struggled trying to find a place of belonging. To be completely honest, I've struggled deeply with insecurity, the pressure to be perfect without flaw. I've struggled with identity outside of being a student athlete and many quiet battles that most don't see, but so many of us feel. The accomplishments and accolades become a measure of our success, but they are fleeting. The truth is, we base so much of our identity in the title of being a student athlete or insert whatever title that has defined you. But what happens when it's over? My first couple of years in college were amazing. I was breaking school records, placing in the top 3 in the Big Sky Conference, and just missed a shot at NCAA Nationals. Give me another year of preparation and it's gonna happen, I thought. However, God had other plans, as so many of us know that he does. I was involved in a car accident over the summer going into my junior year, which changed the trajectory of my life. I had a concussion that left me out of the season, and it felt like it took forever to recover. That time of recovery put me so behind the pack. I became another number. Who was I without my sport, without the success that everyone knew and expected? Very quickly I realized that the world doesn't stop for you. People and life move forward, and I battled with that. However, for a season that seemed so dark, Father turned and used for his glory. This is why I say it's important for a child to know what their father says about them. See, Father started to reveal himself to me in ways I hadn't paid attention to before, stripping my heart from my old identity, pulling back the layers, stepping into who he called me to be. Understanding that my identity wasn't in the worldly view of successes, but that I was a child of God, called by Christ, chosen, loved, forgiven, and freed. Psalm 131:14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. I thank God for that season, for those lessons, because it truly helped me to let go of what the world says and grab hold of truth. I get to now experience the freedom in that in my role as a wife, as a mommy to my baby boys, being able to let them know as they grow up and face their own challenges what their Heavenly Father says about them. Lastly, I want to thank all of my teammates, my coaches, my family members, friends, teachers, athletic trainers, athletic directors, mentors, principals, who not only invested their time but also saw in me what my Heavenly Father does, who spoke to it, drilled it into me, and helped me to understand it. Many who are still reminding me in moments of weakness whose I am. You all planted a seed in my heart, watered it, and helped it grow. I wouldn't be me without it. I love you. Thank you.
This might be a shocker, but Ricky was also an amazing student here at Rangeview as well. I have a plaque for you, Ricky. Congratulations. Coach. One of the greatest things about athletics, about Rangeview, is seeing how it all brings families together, and that was great. And I'd love to invite our next presenter to the stage. Speaking of bringing family together, Chuck Mills Jr. Please come on up. Last year we got the opportunity to meet Sharon as she introduced one of our Hall of Famers, Danny Neal, in the back. And now we get to meet Chuck as he introduces his father. Thank you, Chuck.
Everybody hear me? Got a lot to talk about. I'd like to thank Sean Palmer, the Hall of Fame committee, coaches, staff, friends, families, and most importantly, the Hall of Fame class of 2025. Congratulations. It's an honor to be up here with you tonight. As we're getting ready for tonight, Coach Palmer told us we're on a pitch count. If our speeches go long, the punishment is sprints in a large gym. Clearly not in a position to do that, so let's go ahead and get started here. Some of you know Dad as Chuck, Chucky, Mills, Millsy, Charles. That's usually reserved for my mom when my dad was in trouble. Coach Mills, Mr. Mills, but let's be honest, some of you had more colorful names for him, but I'll save that for another time. My daughter calls him Tunka, I call him Dad. Rangeview's slogan is commitment to excellence. Dad absolutely loved this slogan, and he loved Rangeview. Rangeview has a rich history of athletic and academic success. Sometimes incorrectly overlooked by outsiders, you can argue that Rangeview at times found itself as the underdog. And my dad preferred it that way. Dad was about substance over flash. He loved the process. He loved the journey. As the underdog, the process and the journey required you to commit to being excellent in the classroom and athletically. He would say you have to outwork your competition. You have to do your best, empty the tank, leave nothing behind. And if you do that, regardless of the outcome, you can walk away knowing you did everything you could do to be successful. These were lessons in life. The seeds planted with 14 and 15-year-old freshmen that would help them in their high school careers and in life. In 1992, Dad was a state champion in women's track. In 1993, he was a state champion in football. He coached 2 state champions in track in 1992 with Danny and 2012 with Katie. There were numerous others he coached who had highly successful athletic careers. Dad was supremely proud of these achievements. Equally proud, and not to minimize those athletic achievements, Dad was even more proud to see the young men and women he worked with go out and be amazing citizens of this world. They became fathers, mothers, firemen, police officers, teachers, professors, business people, community leaders, and many more. In life, Dad's record of success developing young men and women is unmeasurable. In my book, he was undefeated. I recently read that the average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime. Dad was a teacher for 38 years and a coach for 43. To keep the math simple, if Dad changed the lives of just 2 people per year in 40 years of coaching and education, he impacted 80 lives. I believe the real number is significantly higher, but for now we'll roll with that. Those 80 lives impacted 80 lives of another 80, and in 2 generations, or 50 years, Dad would have impacted over 500,000 lives. If you go out 1 more generation, the impact grows to over 40 million lives. If you don't believe that one person can change the world for the better, I present to you Exhibit 1A, my dad. Dad was my hero. I knew I was going to be in trouble right there. Dad was my hero. have real superpowers. No, he could not fly or jump over tall buildings. Clearly, you know that. Dad's superpowers was the ability to connect with people and build relationships. Dad was a people person. When you were with him, he made you feel like you were the most important person on earth. Dad was genuine and authentic. What you saw was what you got. It was real. You could touch it, you could smell it. Dad took his craft of being a father, husband, coach, and teacher very seriously. But he did not take himself too seriously. It was the perfect mix of focus, intensity, hard work, having fun, and keeping things in perspective. Coach Annalini was coaching my daughter, Taylor, this spring and summer, who's a softball player in addition to being a hockey goalie and on the swim team. Before and after practices, we would get a chance to connect and catch up. After one of our practices, Coach Tony told me a story about Dad. Don't worry. This is one of the G-rated stories. It's okay. Dad was interviewing for a coaching position with Rangeview's football team. The entire staff was there during the lunch and interview. In short order, Tony said they had their guy. Dad felt the same. However, Coach Steckline, the head coach, was still pressing on with the interview. He drew up a play on a napkin, I formation, power right, with the running back hitting the ball off tackle. Coach Steckline said, "Okay, Chuck, how would you defend this?" My dad sat there, focusing hard at the play and taking his time on his response. After a bit, he pointed and said, "The ball's going right there?" Coach said, "Yes." Dad said, "Well, I put all 11 guys right there to stop it." Dad's ability to keep things in perspective was another superpower. Hard work, do your best, take your education and athletics seriously, but have fun, don't take yourself too seriously, and most importantly, keep things in perspective. Dad was from the Lakota tribe. Lakota means friend or ally, two words that describe my dad. He was an unwavering friend and a fierce ally to his family, friends, and community. Tiosh Paye is Lakota for extended family. Yes, it means your aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, but it has another meaning, a more spiritual meaning. It is people and things that are very important to you emotionally and spiritually. To be included in one's Tiosh Paye is one of the highest forms of respect. Dad's Tiosh Paye included all of his students, athletes, coaches, teachers, colleagues, and of course, Rangeview High School. Dad is with us now. I'd like to ask a favor. I'd like to send Dad a message. For those of you who knew Dad, take a moment and think about one of your favorite memories about Dad. Anything that is special to you. I want you to take that memory and put it into the palm of your hand. Go ahead and close your fist and hold on to that memory tight. Put your arm up in the air. Keep thinking about that memory. And on 3, I want you to open your hand and share that memory with my dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad, congratulations on this amazing honor. We love you. We miss you very much. Thank you.
Great time for a family picture. I would like to invite, and please help me, not just Coach Taylor, but everybody from the 1985 Boys State Championship team, please come on up on stage.
All right, man, 40 years, can you believe that? 1985, 40 years. I still call these guys kids. A couple of them are just about to 60. So it's kind of scary, but I think it's a great honor. I know they're honored to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. This team was pretty special the 2 years they were here. They lost 3 games in 2 years, ranked number 1 both years, and they did some amazing things. So, anyway, some of their numbers are staggering. 22-2 the first year, ranked number 1 all year. Lost in the state semis to Sterling, who ended up being state champions. That was an overtime loss. And this was with only juniors and sophomores. We had no seniors at the time, but it didn't seem to faze them whatsoever. The next year, again, ranked number 1 all year. We lost 1 game that season. If you can believe this, we played Brighton here. We beat them 104-60, I think. 104-60. Are you guys thinking Broncos right now? Yeah, 104-60. We go to Brighton and we lose 60-58. How is that possible? But that kind of set them back on the right course. And then after that, we cruised through the state tournament. We had 1 tough game against Greeley West, who had been ranked number 2 all year. And that went down to the wire. But the state final, we played Loveland and beat them by 30. Pretty impressive. So they just did some great things. The media coverage back then, that's back when we still had 2 newspapers. We had beat writers come to the games. These guys got so much publicity, it was ridiculous. Rangeview got tremendous publicity, and none of these kids were recruited. The only one was my son. I brought him with me. All the rest of them came either from Hinckley or Gateway. And to have them come together and do what they did was something really, really special. So before we have them say some things, I just want to recognize my coaching staff at that time. My assistant was Merlin Johnson, the longtime golf coach here. I'm still surprised he didn't keep that job, but we won't talk about that either. Pat Harrison was our sophomore coach, and our freshman coaches were Al Basinger and Steve Goswick. So they were a big part of those 2 years, and they were with me for a long time after that. As far as the championship team, they're going to introduce themselves again here in a minute, but I just wanted to go over who was on that team. Seniors were Jerry Gherkin, Mark Mercer, Terry Taylor Jr., Brian Jones, James Wilson, Kevin Blocker, and the juniors were Rich Nortnick, Chris Shanka, Pat Welch, and we had 1 sophomore, Chris Dennis. So that was the team that did what they did over those 2 years. It was really impressive. The thing about that team, there were so many games where we would be ahead by 20 points at half, maybe more. So a lot of times these guys are sitting watching other kids play all the time, and they took it in stride. They never complained. Now Mark used to complain about not getting enough shots in the game, but we had a 20-year reunion. They came over to the house and we're watching the video of our game, the state championship game. And I'm counting the number of shots he gets in that game. It's like 14. I'm going, you don't get any shots? What are we talking about here? Anyway, a great bunch of kids. So I'm going to have them come up and introduce themselves and just say a few things about that. One thing I won't mention, 5 of the players on that team went on to play collegiately. Mark Mercer, Terry Taylor Jr., Brian Jones, James Wilson, and Jerry Gherkin were all college lettermen. And so that tells you what we were working with. We were really blessed. So right now, I'm going to let Kevin Blocker, come on over, Kevin. Is this guy smiling or what? All right. The reason I'm going to have Kevin handle this is because he's involved in media up in Spokane. And for you people that don't know anything about Spokane, that's where Gonzaga is at, and it's like the basketball universe starts there in Spokane. So he's going to introduce these guys one at a time, but we want each of them to come up and just tell you a few things about their experiences 40 years ago.
I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you're a man, and if you've been married for so much as 60 seconds, you know full well that if you don't have the support of your significant other, things aren't going to happen. I want to thank Mrs. Billy Taylor. Without your love and your support for him, he's not in multiple Hall of Fames. You're just kind of hanging out, trying to do your thing. I remember the summer of 1984, driving across multiple states for 10 days, sitting with you in that van, and it hit me 10, 15 years later. I know my mother loves me, but she's not going to cart these guys half a mile after practice, after games. It's not going to happen. The Billy Taylors of the world give way to the Sean Palmers of the world. Without your support, is this really possible? This was your brainchild, starting here, that was backed up there. I want to thank Coach. I want to thank my teammates. I was the smallest, youngest player on that team. I wouldn't be standing up here without them. I love team sports because it showed me the importance of, I got to pick up my game. I got to get to their level. At the start of the senior season, our senior season, I quit. My mind was in a million other places. Wasn't on basketball. I remember turning my stuff into you. I walked out of this building and I knew I made a mistake. And I thought, damn it, I'm going to have to live with this. Thank you for calling me 2 days later and giving me another shot. Again, I wouldn't be standing up here with these guys. We go way back. 5th grade, 8th grade, freshman year of high school. It's been a wonderful experience, and I want to thank you all for being here.
So my 2 years here at Rangeview were probably 2 of the best years of my life. I developed so many great friendships, and the experiences I had here playing basketball and the other sports I played, and just the education I got here, and all the experiences I had here were just amazing and helped me through the rest of my life. And winning the state championship's one of the top things that ever happened in my life, and very thankful for it. I'm thankful for these guys for their support and for what we did together as a team. And so I really appreciate the school and everything that has happened here. And I wish all the success in the world in the future. Thank you.
That was Terry Taylor. I'm Brian Jones. I just want to thank Coach, the school. A lot of people don't know, but back then I had a long jerry curl. So Mark wouldn't let me put any of his shirts on. And also Mark was my roommate at Lamar Junior College. So, no, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. And this experience here, it helped shape. And I took everything I learned from Coach in my 2 minutes. And that's how I raised my son. So I just want to say thank you. Appreciate it.
ball and just never got to shoot the ball. No, this is my extended family. You know, in high school, these guys are great. You know, we still keep in touch. You know, 40 years later, that's kind of crazy, but we all love each other. We played hard together. Ended up winning the state champion, obviously. But I just want to say thanks, Coach, Billy. Thank you very much. You guys were a big part of my family. So that's all I have to say. Thank you all for coming out.
Lastly, me, Jerry Durkin. I want to first say congratulations to all the other inductees. You really make me proud to have gone here and to have graduated from Rangeview. You know, back then we didn't know what it was going to be. It was brand new, and I think we helped shape what it turned out to be and what it still is. And certainly that's a highlight of my, my growing up. I also want to give a shout out to some members of the team that are no longer with us. Rich Nortnick and James Wilson have gone on to bigger and better things, and they were part of us. And and we miss them. We wish they were here. They were a big part of what we did, and we will always remember them. High school for me was all about sports, and being a part of a team is I believe the greatest thing that young people can be a part of. I think it teaches you to rely on some other people, and like Kevin said, to hold yourself to a higher standard to make sure you don't let them down. And I'm so proud of these guys. We didn't let each other down, especially after Brighton. We came back stronger, and we did it. Thank you so much for being here, and again, congratulations to all the other inductees.
Great job. And if anybody's actually wondering about who scored what in any of those games, Barb is here. So she was probably taking scores. So if you really want to know, I believe it. I believe it. This is the real secret. I'd love to...
Were you saying something about us?
No, sir. Congratulations, Coach. Please help me welcome one of our members of the Hall of Fame committee, but it had no bias on who he's going to introduce. Please welcome Mike Boyle.
So, before I start talking about my brother here, I'm thinking about that 1985 champion basketball team. I was a 98-pound freshman here at Rangeview while you guys were winning the championship. And so that was 40 years ago and about 130 pounds ago. But honestly, you guys were larger than life, especially because I was about that big, 98 pounds. But you were like the heroes of the school. And I remember when you were making that playoff run, we got a pep assembly like every other day. But every time you won, we had another pep assembly. And that was awesome. We were freshmen trying to get out of class all day. Now I'm a teacher here, and I want to give a little shout out to Ricky. I was lucky enough to have Ricky in my class. I think she was a sophomore, maybe a freshman. And so I was moved by her speech, so it was good to see her brother Max as well. To my brother, so I don't know, I've been doing this, I'm on the committee, I've seen a lot of speeches. Not many people are like brothers giving speeches as a father or something like that. Especially as like a brother like mine, who gets a lot of accolades in his life. I gave him the tour of all of his pictures out there. But I'm thinking about, like, okay, what was my brother like as an athlete here at Rangeview? We played soccer together here. He didn't play as a freshman, right? He had like a broken arm or something. And then, I don't remember next year very well. The first year that's memorable to me is when I was a junior and he was a sophomore. And Coach Strauss took over the team. And then it felt real. Then it was good. And, you know, we got better. And I think when I was a senior was our first winning record. And then I left and I went to college. And somehow this guy became an all-state soccer player in 1 year. I was amazed by that. And the team was really, really good. Lost in the playoff. And who was it? Palmer? That was a hell of a game. I came down to watch that. But yeah, all-state soccer player. Basketball was really what I thought he was more about. So another person from the 80s getting in for basketball. And another team that got to the state championship in 1989, the spring of '89. And I remember we'd come down, I was at CSU, and we'd drive down and go to the games in Nichols and watch that season. And they were great. And I think about Lars Van Ent, who was on that team, and he was inducted 2 or 3 years ago. Eric Floyd, Joe Nornick, Craig Willis, Kim Turner. And I was thinking, all right, okay, what was my brother's role on that team? Was he the three-point specialist? I think that was Craig Willis. Was he the big guy in the paint? That was Lars and Ken. But you know, what he excelled at was taking charges. And it almost became like a badge of honor. And it was timely. Like, we needed a turnover, he would get in the lane, get run over, here we go. And I'll be honest with you, he kind of parlayed that into a college basketball career at DU. Because we'd come down and watch. Lars went to DU, he played with Lars again at DU. And you know what's crazy about that was DU was in that little gym and it's college basketball, and it was a fraction of what it was like watching those guys play basketball at Rangeview. With a packed gym going crazy, like it was really special what was going on in high school. But yeah, he was he fought and grinded his way up to playing for DU basketball. But still, specialty was taking charges. If I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, it's hard to introduce your brother. But in all seriousness, you know, Pat was an accomplished high school member of Rangeview High School. There's no doubt about it. Deserving to be in here. And Coach Palmer's right. I didn't even show up to the meeting that you guys decided to put him in. I was gone. But so let me introduce my little brother, Matt Boyle.
All right, thank you, Mike. Mike has been a teacher here for how long, Mike?
This is my 18th.
And he teaches math. He was a horrible math student here. In fact, Mrs. Curtis, you probably remember Mr. Carlson, and he was kicked out of Mr. Carlson's math class more than anyone in the history of Rangeview. So it makes perfect sense that he built a career teaching math at Rangeview. Makes a lot of sense. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. It's a privilege to be with all of you. Like Mike said, I looked up to the 85 team as well. Couldn't figure out who the hell Brian Jones was because he didn't have the Jerry curl. And I'm like, is that guy a team manager? He's kind of tall for a team, and that's not Marvin Rose. But it makes sense now. Bart Curtis, you were my absolute favorite teacher here. I was in your calculus class. You were amazing. So thank you for all you've done for the school, for me. Thank you for caring and playing a big part in my life and everyone else's. I must confess, when Joe Burton grabbed your hand, I was thinking you guys were about to make an announcement like you've been secretly dating for 40 years. And this felt like the right venue to finally let everyone know. Congratulations also to the 85 team. To me, it kind of feels like this is the 10th time you guys have been inducted. Maybe that's just me. There are actually more pictures of you guys in the 89 basketball yearbook than there were of the actual people playing that year. Not sure why. Might have something to do with the coach. Actually ended up playing against some of the members of the 85 team in college. I played against Mark Mercer at Chapman. They beat us. They had horrible hometown refs. The only stat line I remember for the game, Mark Mercer, 34 shots. I also played against the late, great James Wilson when he played at Pueblo. I had to guard him in the post. I don't recommend it. Thank you to my wonderful coaches. Coach T, where are you? Yeah, I saw you up here. You look good. Okay, there you are. I'm sorry we didn't get you another title. If Lars didn't break his leg in the game, or I took a few more charges, because apparently that's all I'm good at.
If you took a few more shots.
If I took a few more shots, and also if we didn't play against the guy that got drafted in the first round of the NBA, who I had to guard, we might have won that one. But we did our best. I apologize to you and Billy. When you guys would host team parties at your house, me and Eric Foy would secretly feed your blind dogs pizza. So I don't know if you noticed anything a couple hours later. So I'm sorry. And Billy, thank you for all you've done as well. Is Merlin here? Okay, but he's alive. Okay. Well, I said a lot of nice things about him. He was a wonderful coach. He was a JV coach. He would actually, one way I got good at charges was, if you remember playing for Merlin and you got a charge, he would buy you an apple pie. So that was my only motivation for learning how to take charges, and I got a lot of those. Merlin Johnson was awful to play pickup basketball against because he was angry and he fouled a lot and he just played mad. Although it was much better to play against him than a shirtless bass singer or Drozdak. I still have nightmares about Drozdak and me, shirts and skirts. Vic, I thought you were old when I played soccer for you in the 80s. And you're still here.
Still old.
And you're still old. But no, as Mike said, we had a blast playing for you. Sorry I missed my shootout shot against Palmer. We should have beat him, but you were a wonderful coach. Granted, the guy that was coaching before you was a masochist. So even if you weren't good, you would have been a lot better than. It wasn't even a bar, but you were wonderful. So lots of great memories here from both the academic side and also soccer and basketball. A lot of my good friends, including Sung, Mike, who else did we bring? Sean, yeah, that guy, the guys filmed me over there. I met my wife here. I met my wife here, Becky. And a lot of my good friends, my brother, all of my best friends, kind of sounds like the 85 team, are still the kids I went to, or the young men I grew up with at Rangeview. So thank you, Rangeview, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for the award, and congrats to everybody.
Pat Merlin is on our Hall of Fame committee. He has trouble getting to things, but it's not going to affect his perfect attendance. And he's going to get a lot for that at some time, I'm sure. But I'd love to welcome and bring up some members of the Antolini family, including Tony and Liddy. Brock, good to see you. We're going to let you get started. So please help me welcome Tony and Brock.
apologize in advance. I'm not sure that I'm going to be quite as funny as Patrick.
But it's a BOGO deal, so violent.
There we go. It's a true honor to stand here today with my sister and present our dad for his induction into the Rangeview Athletics Hall of Fame. For 17 years, he dedicated himself to this school as a teacher, a coach, and as an athletic director. Some of my favorite memories growing up were spent right here with my dad. In the dugout when he was the baseball coach, Friday nights on the sideline at APS Stadium, watching Coach Gons and the football team. In the gym, watching the great basketball program that Coach Taylor, Coach Palmer built. But what stood out to me most were all the great relationships he had with everyone around him. Everywhere I looked, there was a strong sense of community. Students, athletes, parents, and colleagues who all felt connected. Our dad's impact reached far beyond just athletics. He was a mentor to countless students and athletes, although I'm not sure how much he actually taught them in the classroom. He was a leader to his fellow teachers and coaches, and a role model to anyone who had the privilege of working alongside him. He created an atmosphere where people felt supported, challenged, and proud to be a Rangeview Raider. That sense of family is a legacy that still lives on today. As his son, it means so much to me to see him recognized in this way. I've seen firsthand the passion and dedication he poured into this school, and I couldn't be more proud to share this moment with him. So on behalf of our family, and with immense pride, we are honored to introduce our dad as a member of the Rangeview High School Hall of Fame.
I can't stand behind this thing. So as Joe so thoughtfully mentioned that I guess I'm the only one in the room getting older, me, Coach Strauss. But as I get older, I reflect more. When I was young, I just reacted, as many of you can probably attest to. But as I reflect on my career here at Rangeview, I believe there are three significant elements to a recognition like that. And those are your peers, your players, and your family. And I think that's kind of been a common thread in this. You know, I worked on a staff down the hall in the same office with Merlin Johnson, and Tim Scheibler, and Terry Taylor, and Lisa Stone. And in the springtime, I have these fondest memories of being out on the baseball field, and up above on the track, I could see and hear T.J. Henderson and Rob Shirk and Chuck Mills, and see them work with the kids in our school. Up above there on the soccer field would be Vic Strauss. I could hear him too, and there were a lot of bloody hells, if I can remember that. And on the field, my staff, the staff that I worked with, both as an assistant and as the head coach, spent most of my time with Merle Steele and Tim Scheibler. I was blessed with just being surrounded by coaching greatness. I remember Coach Scheibler and I were always so fortunate and confident that the kids that came from Merle Steele's JV program to us at the varsity level were just completely prepared, mentally and physically. And I owe special thanks to Tim Scheibler. Are you here today, Tim? I owe special thanks to Tim. I wouldn't have been here at Rangeview without Tim. When the school opened, he was the one who wanted to bring me out here as an assistant. He was also the one a few years later that encouraged me, says, you need to go on and you need to get your experience as a head coach. And so I went on to Regis, and that worked out pretty well. It was Tim's idea when he went to Joe Burton also to say that he wanted to step down as the head coach, and he wanted me to come over as the head coach. And not many guys would do that because Tim wanted to stay on as the varsity assistant. And so I have a special thanks for you, Red Dog. We spent a lot of time together, and I appreciate you. Now, none of this would have happened without the leadership that Joe Burton provided. Joe set a standard in the athletic program here that I thought was it was so significant, and it carries on today. And you're seeing a product of a lot of that. Okay, so special thanks to Joe Burton. In your programs, in the bios, there are a lot of accomplishments for all the inductees. But what I'm most proud of is the type of player that we had here. We had a significant group of players here, and many of you are here today. It's so great to see you, all right? And year in and year out, we could compete. We could compete here at Rangeview, and it made it tough for us to make those selections as coaches. And I want all of you players that are out there that played for us to know how much we value, how much I value the relationship that we had with you. So I do appreciate that. And thirdly, most importantly, aside from those accomplishments, what I'm most proud of is my family. I have two adult children that you just saw up here that turned out to be really productive, hardworking adults, and in many ways in spite of me. You know, Mallory has just finished 15 years of teaching. And in part, she became a teacher because she told me at one time it's because she saw how much I loved what I did. And so I so appreciated that. And Brock shared some things with you that I have some fond memories of that kid. He was young enough to be here with me and to witness the things that went on here at Rangeview. And so he knows the type of standard and the quality of program that Rangeview High School is. But most importantly, I need to thank my lovely wife, Jean. I would tease her a lot that she didn't know that the baseball was stuffed or pumped up. So she wasn't the biggest sports fan. But while I was here pursuing my passion and doing the things that I love most, she was holding it together. She was doing the heavy lifting. She was raising the family. She was doing the part that counted. So to you and to all of you here, players, peers, my family, I'm so very grateful for this, and I want to thank you. I do want to congratulate all the inductees, and I'm so proud to be a part of this class. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Tony did a great job voicing, as coaches, we're so grateful for our players and athletes. But we're also grateful for the people who hired us. And Tony, Joe, Vic, Eric Swanson's here somewhere, our athletic director currently, gave a lot of these coaches opportunities. So I'm grateful that Tony hired me, Coach Taylor hired me a long time ago, and to give us that opportunity. So he's impacted a lot of people, so thank you. I'd love to end the evening with our last presenter, very fitting, a Hall of Famer herself, our principal at Rangeview High School currently, Miss Lisa Gross.
Come on up, Stacy. So while she's coming up, just thank you everyone for being here tonight. What a wonderful evening, and congratulations to all of our inductees tonight. It's my honor to present our final 2025 Hall of Fame inductee. I am a Crown graduate. I graduated with Mike Boyle and his backup singers. Good job, you guys. It's good to see you. Mike, everybody got kicked out of Carlson's class, so you're not that special. Hi, Stacy. From 1997 to 2000, I had the privilege of serving as the head girls basketball coach at Rangeview. And during those years, I witnessed some of the most talented female athletes walk through these doors. Every basketball coach hopes they have a player who can handle the ball, the point guard, the general on the floor. Every coach wishes that the person was coupled with a post player who could dominate the paint. And if you had a few shooters to accompany those key players, it would just be heavenly. And I was in heaven for those 4 years. Rebounders and shot blockers are crucial to a basketball team's success because they control possession and dictate the tempo of the game through hustle, positioning, and intimidation. As we know, rebounding gives a team more scoring opportunities, while shot blocking denies those opportunities to the opponent. And our Hall of Fame inductee this evening, Stacey Korleski, was the queen of rebounds and shot blocks. 25 years later, she still holds the Rangeview career record for both rebounds and block shots at 545 and 98 respectively. What I love about our Rangeview yearbooks from 97 to 2000 is that just about every picture of Stacey has her back to the camera and a focus on the rim or her hands up to swat balls out of the paint, because that's what she did consistently. Stacey earned recognition as a 4-time Continental League All-Conference basketball player and as a 4-time All-State basketball selection, while also achieving remarkable success in both our volleyball program and throwing shot put with our track and field program. I was able to get in touch with Lou Krause, I tracked him down, who was Stacy's volleyball coach while they were here together at Rangeview, and he wanted me to share the following with you, Stacy. Coach Kraft said, Stacy was more than just a standout athlete, though her accolades speak for themselves. She was a 4-time All-Continental League selection in volleyball, a 1999 Colorado All-State Volleyball honoree, and a strong half of the legendary Twin Towers that carried Rangeview to its best ever finish, 5th in the state. But what truly set Stacy apart wasn't just her talent, it was her heart, her humility, and the unwavering effort she gave every single day. Whether in practice or in the heat of a playoff match, Stacy gave everything she had. She led not only with her play, but with her presence, a team captain who led with both words and example. Off the court, Stacy's competitive fire gave way to a warmth and kindness that left a lasting impression on everyone around her. Fierce on game day, yet always the first to ask how you were doing, the first to notice when someone needed a lift, and the first to offer it without hesitation. And Coach Krause was right. All of the stats Stacy earned are incredible, but was really the essence of Stacy as an athlete was her dedication to her sports and her teammates, her ability to reflect on losses, learn from them, adjust, and do better the very next day. Her leadership on and off the court and her fiercely competitive attitude and intensity was noticeable in every practice and every game. I recall a tough loss to Arapahoe High School during Stacy's junior year, and it was a lesson for me as a coach. I carried that sting into the following year. And when we faced Arapahoe again here at Rangeview during Stacy's senior year, the game was intense. At one crucial moment, with minutes left, Stacy stepped off the right block of the key toward the elbow. Her defensive counterpoint went with her, and no one slid into the space that she had just created. Stacy used every bit of her skill and basketball IQ, shifted her body, putting her opponent on her right hip, leaving a wide lane for the layup. And she received a pass from Jamie Marin and hit the easy layup. We stopped them on defense with Stacy pulling yet another defensive rebound, and I called a quick timeout, and we drew up the same look Stacy had just created. And I told the team to swing the ball to her side with pain. We did, and Stacy scored twice more, putting us up by 6, and the Arapahoe could never recover. It was such an amazing win for us as a team, and that night was really the Stacy Korleski show, solidifying her as an anchor of our program and in the shadow of no one. Stacy Korleski is undoubtedly one of the greatest female athletes to have attended Rangeview High School. She went on to take her talents playing D1 ball on scholarship at the University of Denver, and today I'm proud to say that Stacy's teaching United States government and history at, Ms. Walsh, go social studies, at Camden County High School in Tennessee, coaching volleyball for the Lions and basketball for junior level teams. Stacy, it was truly a privilege and an honor to coach you all those years ago and to call you a friend today. You remind us all that greatness isn't just about how high you can jump or how hard you can hit. It's about how genuinely you care for people around you. You left a legacy of athletic excellence at Rangeview, of kindness, leadership, and heart. You embody the true spirit of what it means to be a Raider on and off the court. Congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame, and welcome Stacy Korleski Shurtleff.
Good evening. Well, let me get myself here. Okay. Standing here today, being welcomed into the Hall of Fame is truly an honor I will carry with me for the rest of my life. This recognition is not just about me, though. It reflects the people, opportunities. I'm gonna get it together. And experiences that shaped my journey. First, I do want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this incredible honor. To be counted among such inspiring individuals is very humbling. My husband and I were sitting in our car waiting to pick up our boys from football practice when Coach Gross and Coach Walsh called me to tell me about the Hall of Fame induction. When my boys walked up, they barely made it into the car before I exploded with my good news. My youngest son, Keaton, said, "Is this for your college team?" And I quickly responded, "No, I wouldn't care about that at all." This is for high school. He looked at me confused. Why would a high school honor mean more to me than anything else? And tonight I'm going to tell him and all of you why. I believe that the universe born in Aurora, Colorado in 1982. The girls I grew up being friends with and playing sports with were one in a million. We were competitive, driven, talented, and a tight group of girls. We took the same classes, we slept at each other's houses, and drove to practice together. We cried about boys and coaches and playing time. We helped each other pass tests and get out of class to wander the halls together. None of my success could have happened without the help of my amazing teammates. I thank each and every one of them that I shared the court with for helping me get here. I played team sports, and I was blessed with amazing teammates. Speaking of karma, I want to thank my parents for the hours upon hours of time, energy, money, and love that they put into me. Now that I'm a parent, driving my kids to sports and games is an actual nightmare. I don't know how my parents did it. I have 2 boys and there were 3 of us. I really don't know how they did it. They never faltered though, and they never told me no. They gave up their dreams to give me mine. My mom worked 2 jobs at one point, and my dad worked from sunup to sundown, but they never missed a game. They never let me go without, and they pushed me to be the best person and athlete I could be. I wish my dad could be here to see this moment. He was my first coach and my mentor growing up, and he instilled a competitive drive in me in my teenage years. When he couldn't handle my eye rolling or drama anymore, he decided to coach my brothers, which was much better for his mental health. My dad taught me to never settle for anything short of perfection, and even if I failed in life, I still had to try. My sweet mom, she couldn't tell you a single rule about any game I was playing, but she always cheered and supported me, no matter what. I don't think she knew if I was playing basketball or volleyball. We used to make fun of her carpoolitis, which was the cramp she would get in her leg from driving us around so much. I'm sorry I did that, Mom, because I have it now too. My mom was my calm in my storm, the steady river in my chaos, and she still is. Thank you, Mom, for being my sunshine. I would also like to thank all the moms and dads that treated me like their own. It takes a village, and I was blessed with one of the best ever. In 7th grade, I played club volleyball for Front Range Volleyball Club. I only played one summer, but that one summer is proof that the universe was on my side. On our way home from a tournament in California on the airplane, I sat next to the coach of the older girls team. I opened up my team magazine in hopes of keeping myself occupied for the next 2 hours in the air, but the man next to me asked me all about what I was reading. He asked me about makeup and what clothes were cool. He wanted to know which celebrities were dating and who had broken up. We had a wonderful flight laughing and talking about all the girly things. A year later, I enrolled at Rangeview High School, and guess who the volleyball coach was? None other than Mr. Teen Magazine himself, Lou Krause. Volleyball was my just for fun sport and a break from basketball, but Lou led us to 5th in state my senior year. The man is the volleyball genius. He listened to me cry about fights with friends, breakups with boys, and general teen problems. And I can never thank him enough for everything he did for me. I'm currently coaching the high school volleyball team in a small town in Tennessee. And I often think, what would Lou do? Another coaching change happened when I came in as a freshman, and that was Coach Gross and Coach Walsh taking over the girls' basketball program. I don't know if the change was made because everyone saw the group coming in and ran for the hills, but Lisa and Stephanie stepped up to the job. It couldn't have been easy dealing with our egos and attitudes. They had some of the best in Colorado girls basketball, and we knew it too. I can't imagine the pressure you felt having such talent in the palm of your hands. But all I can say is when I stepped on that court for you, it was the most fun time of my life. From road trips to ice tossing on the bench. I've yet to enjoy anything in my life like I did on the Rangeview court. Words can never express how thankful I am that you also recognize me for who I am on and off the court. And you surely helped shape who I am today. I'm honored to be here tonight with Tony and Alini, who is my weightlifting coach, bunch of teenagers at that time of day. I used every excuse in the book to get out of doing anything in class. And I currently use every line Mr. Andolini used as a rebuttal to get my students to work in my classroom now. My senior year, I had already committed to play basketball at DU. AAU basketball was over, and I took a stab at track and field. Really, it was just field. I wasn't fast. I was fortunate enough to have Mr. Mills be my shot put coach. He was a wonderful man, and I'm thankful for the time that he spent with me. I want to thank my younger brothers for always having my back and apologize to them for always being known as Stacy's brothers. I couldn't have asked for better siblings. I want to thank my husband who couldn't be here tonight because he's home watching our farm, and my sons Corbin and Keaton for always listening to how cool I used to be. Hopefully this proves it to them for a little while. My family and I moved to a tiny town in Middle Tennessee about 4 years ago where my husband took a director position for Veteran Affairs, and I got my teaching license. And I teach history and government to high schoolers. Therefore, I would like to take this time to apologize to all of my teachers. You tried to instill knowledge in me, and I did retain a little. But you cared about me no matter my test scores, and I can never thank you enough. One more, I promise. These days, I try to teach my students to the best of my ability, but I also try to remember that the teachers I had didn't just teach me. They cared about me, and I try to do the same every day, because I have proof of the impact that it can have. To those who paved the way before me, thank you for setting the standard and inspiring me to reach higher. To those that will come after, I hope my journey reminds you that the dedication, resilience, passion, and trusting in the timing of your life can carry you further than you ever imagined. Thank you.
Congratulations again to all of our inductees. We would love to take a picture with everyone that got inducted tonight out by our corner picture taking place. And also, we recorded tonight's ceremony, so if you know somebody that wasn't able to be here and you'd like to share it with them, we'll be posting it in the next couple days and try to make that readily available to everybody. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. Again, congratulations. Please join us with some dessert and drinks and hang out, take some pictures, and enjoy yourself and have a great night. Thank you.